Good morning, everyone. Dan Bates, President and CEO, Greater Hamilton Chamber of Commerce, and we are really thrilled that you could join us this morning for Coffee and Conversations. This morning, we have a great host. I'm really excited. Darla Kirchner will introduce herself, but I'll tell you a little bit about her. She's been a chamber member for a couple of years at least, and she is one of our virtual members. So she is in the Carolinas, basking in the springtime sun this morning while we're looking at snow flurries. But Darla's been a great asset to this organization and any of our members who have used her, and she'll tell you a little bit more about who she is and what she does in a minute. So we are on Zoom. If you have questions, you can just ask them of the speaker. I'm sure Darla won't mind if you interrupt her, or you can put them in the chat box. If you're on Facebook Live, type the questions in and Laura will repeat them to the speaker so we can get your questions answered. So with that, we're going to get started here. And I think, Tiffany, you're doing self-introductions?
Yes, we'll go ahead and do introductions. So when I call on you, unmute, and then tell us who you are, what company you're with, and then remember to mute back. So Chris Cannell, we'll start with you.
Good morning. I'm Chris Cannell. I'm with the Hamilton City Schools.
All right, Sandy.
Good morning, Sandy Kusnoff with Frank's Glass. We're a full service glass company.
Thank you. Brandon Owens. It looks like you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. We'll come right back to you, Brandon. Ben Cornice.
Good morning, everyone. Ben Cornice with First Financial Bank.
Rob E.
Morning, Rob Everhart with Slingshot Solutions, IT for Business.
Thanks for being with us today, Rob. Brandon, do you want to try one more time? Okay, wait 1 second.
Looks like he's going to try to log back in.
Okay, Brandon, if you want to put your information in the chat, what business you're with, that would be great. And with that, we will start the presentation with Darla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Darla Kirchner. Can you all hear me? Am I good?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Many clients and businesses and organizations that I work with really struggle with their marketing. They find it really hard. And if they have a marketing team, then a lot of times you're so involved in your business that you're really having a hard time to connect with your audience, especially now in a very noisy, busy world. So I have a different approach. I work with using psychology and storytelling to have a customer-centric marketing strategy to help my businesses marketing work, and so their business grows. And so this is what we're going to be talking about today, so I can share with you my expertise and what I've learned over the years, the right way and the wrong way of doing things. I've been in business for myself for about 27 years and have evolved and grown as most businesses do, and found the Holy Grail about 7 or 8 years ago when I realized that my business was in more the creative field at that time, about 10 years ago, and I realized I needed to go online when we had the Great Recession. And so I changed everything, went online and started doing my design business there, and realized that I'm really good at making things look good. So I can make websites look great. I can make brands look amazing. But I was really struggling with having the right words to really connect with the people. So I took a plethora of copywriting courses from amazing mentors, and then I became a StoryBrand certified guide, which means that I'm a certified business storyteller. And so I use the combination of storytelling, getting your words right and copy, and psychology as a brand strategist to really connect with my audience. And so with my customers, with my audience. And so my superpower is really putting myself in their shoes, in their customers' shoes, so that they can understand how they can relate to their customers. And so this is what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to ask you this question and see if anybody really has an idea on this. And you can put this in the chat box. And Tiffany, if you can just share with me what answers you get. How much time do you think you need to have someone's attention, especially in the online or, our fast-paced world? If anybody wants to take a wild guess, they can either unmute themselves or they can share. Oh, we got somebody in the chat. That's what they said. 7 seconds. Good one, Tiffany. Actually, it's actually now 5 seconds. Have about 5 seconds to get someone's attention, especially in the online space. So it depends on where you look. It can go from 7 to 5. Some people won't say less than that, which is crazy, but it's true. And believe it or not, it's less than a goldfish. Goldfish can hold attention for 9 seconds. So we have to combat that. This is the enemy. Noise is the enemy. And so we want to make sure that we are talking to people in a way that they will listen to us, they will hear us, they will understand what we're saying, and we get them to take action. And so this is some of the things we're going to be talking about today. And so I use the combination of like I said, psychology and storytelling. And so as I mentioned, it's about 5 or 6 years ago, I was trained as a story brand guide. I don't know if anyone's read this book, but building a story brand, this is my first tip for you. Buy this book. This will help you understand more of how storytelling will help you relate and resonate with your clients. And so it's a great book to grab. There's also a podcast, and I'm happy to share that with y'all later too. There's a podcast called Marketing Made Simple, where they've laid this out, and they are the team at Story Brand is fabulous at helping you understand who your audience is. And so it's really a combination of psychology and storytelling, because storytelling works. I don't know how many people watch the Oscars, but millions of people all over the world watch the Oscars because it talks about stories and movies. There was music involved, and all of that relates to words. And so we want to make sure that we're getting the right words. And so the real reason why both of these combined together is such a strong force is because it evokes emotion. And it's one of the reasons that storytelling works and words and books and movies all work is because people buy based on emotion. A lot of times you think people are buying by the features or by the by the benefits, but they're buying because of what something makes them feel to doing that. And so humans, this will give you a little psychology lesson here, just kind of set the stage here, is humans are hardwired in our limbic brain. This is our reptilian brain to do two main things as it relates to storytelling. It's to survive and thrive and to conserve calories. Right now with the bank out in West and this whole issue about the banks, people are starting to close in a little bit because we're here to survive. And so we're trying to make sure that we're keeping ourselves safe. That is just human nature to do that. And then we're also here to conserve calories. The less, the more we're able to convey information in a small amount, in smaller amounts, people will listen, as opposed to, if you start talking in insider language or you start giving them a paragraph about what you do and how you can help them, you've lost them because you haven't brought it into a concise way for them to understand. And so we want to make sure that, we're keeping this in mind as you're going through this, is ask yourselves these questions. Is it going to help my customer survive and thrive? And am I writing things in a tight way that will help them conserve calories? Because they want to know how it's going to help them. Always keep that in mind. Your customer is always looking at you to find out how can you help them. And now your customer can be anyone. It doesn't matter. This process, this framework that I'm going to share with you is really relates for anyone. It doesn't matter if you're a for-profit or a nonprofit. Actually, a couple of years ago, Dan and the team, I took them through it so that we could hone in on the messaging that we're sharing here at the chamber. It's the same thing with anyone. So it's a process that works no matter what industry you're in. So I don't feel if you're all aware of this, I did not learn about Maslow's hierarchy of needs until after college. But some people, if you took some psychology classes, you may have seen this. And so basically, again, it goes back to what our basic needs are, what are, our philosophical, and then our self-fulfillment needs. And so this is where I'm saying people want to have safety and security. This is like down in here, the basic needs to survive and thrive. And so up here, this is where people start to, elevate themselves into, they want to have a sense of belonging. That's why people like join teams. That's why they develop friendships and get married and have children. And then you get into self-actualization where you're trying to reach your fullest potential. And I would say someone who's probably met their fullest potential might be Gandhi. And so it's not easy to get all the way up there. But this gives you an idea of what of how using Maslow hierarchy needs will help and relate with when it comes to marketing. It's like we're going down to the basics of what people are meant to do. And so if you've not heard of Seth Godin, this is, I'm a big quote person, and Seth Godin he's got amazing quotes, but this is one I think really resonates for this topic, is marketing is a contest for people's attention. Because when you've got 5 seconds, especially in the online space, to get someone's attention, you have to make sure it's working for you. And we're going more and more digital. I know that I may be even like for someone to feel like they can trust you. It's a gut intuition. It's like 1/12 of a second for people to realize when they meet you in person, can I trust this person or not? That it takes that much time. It's that fast. And so we want to make sure that you're doing effective marketing strategies, because you could be marketing and spending a lot of time and investing a lot of resources into marketing and it not landing well because you're not grabbing your client's attention. And so psychology will help you understand what motivates your customers to buy from you. So that's one thing on one hand. You want to make sure that, that's why I use psychology to help me understand and help my clients understand what motivates their clients to buy from them. And then storytelling creates a memorable, impactful brand identity and marketing that sets you apart from your competitors. So by telling a story, and I'm going to show you this, by telling a story the right way that keeps your customer along that story and bringing them on the customer journey with you, that's going to give them the experience that you want them to have. It brings in your brand and what you stand for, and who you are, and what your values are, and what your strengths are, and it also brings them along the story with you. And so it's a combination of both of these together that really will help, that has helped businesses all over the world be successful. There are big corporations that use this process all the way down to solopreneurs, and it works for any organization. I've had the pleasure of working with companies that are in manufacturing, to e-commerce. I'm working with e-commerce product right now. I've worked with nonprofits. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the right words, said the right way, talking to the right customers, you will have much better success. And so here's what happens often is that we as business owners, we are wonderful at what we do. We are in organizations. We have been in this business maybe for years. And so you kind of get trapped into what we call the curse of knowledge. And so what that means is that you are over here, what you know is over here. So you know an exorbitant amount about your business. And you think that you are, and I'm going to put this in air quotes, dumbing things down to make it simpler for whoever you're talking to, a prospect or a parent of a student in a school, or a customer who walks into your shop, or whoever your customers are, that you're speaking to them in a way, you're sharing content and information with them, whether that's on your website, in social media, when you're speaking to them one-on-one, you're talking to them in a way that you think that they understand. This little dotted line here shows you the difference between where they are in confusion and where you want them to be is over here in clarity. And so what they understand is on a scale, if this was a scale of 1 to 10, they understand down to a 3. So you want to make it really simple for them to understand, like you're talking to almost a 12-year-old, because that is the median age of what most people will understand at. And because we are in such a noisy, busy world, we don't absorb it. So unless you make it stupid simple for us, we're done, we're gone. And so, there's a quote that Don Miller says, and it's really a quote that a lot of other mentors that I follow use is that a confused mind never buys. If you confuse someone, you'll lose them. And we don't want that, because you are here to solve problems, and you want to make sure that you are that you're giving your best effort. And so they understand down here, and they will buy when it's really simple down here. And so keep this in mind, is am I confusing my audience? Because you know so much, you're used to using insider language and you don't even realize it. I mean, even me putting this presentation together, I literally had to go back through it again and put myself into your eyes and say, okay, am I saying something that's confusing them? And so I'm always striving to do this for my customers, and it's something that you want to make sure that you're doing in your businesses and organizations. And so this is the framework that I have been trained in, and it is a proven framework that works all over. This is the Story Brand framework. And basically what happened was Don Miller, who's the one who created this framework, was an amazing memoir author. He wrote books, like 7 bestseller books. And there's some great books if you want to go read them. But then he started taking he wanted to shift from being an author and an author of books into creating conferences. And so he started doing these conferences. The conferences were amazing, and the people that would come to the conferences loved them and raved about the conferences. The problem is that he was only filling about half the seats, and he didn't know why. And so what he did is he took this framework, and he applied it to this new business venture. And once he started using the right words that appealed to the right people, then the seats filled and his conferences were complete sellouts. And so he thought, I need to share this with other people. And so then he wrote the book. He didn't want to be a marketing agency. So he trained people like myself. There's probably about 700 people all over the world that are trained in this at this point. And they are trained to help companies learn how to use this and implement that in their own business. And so, basically this is the process. You have a customer who has a problem, a desire, or a want, and we go into 3 different levels. There's 3 different levels of what your customer has. And so you have your exterior problem, what they're coming to you for, the interior problem, which is the problem how is that problem making them feel, and the philosophical problem is like why this shouldn't be this way. And then we dive deep into that. And so then they meet the guide. The guide is you. You're the guide. You're not the hero. You don't ever want to play the hero in the story. You always want to be the guide to helping your client get to the desired outcome of what they want. And so you have 2 different main areas that we focus in, is empathy and authority. The empathy is what a lot of businesses miss. And so I really focus there to pull this content out by asking the right questions so that I can build their brand up as someone who really cares, because people want to know if you care. And so you want to make sure that you have the authority, whether you've been in business for 25 years, you have certifications, you have whatever, you have all the authority, and that's what a lot of companies fall on. But people don't care all about that. They want to know that you care about them. And so we talk a lot about that. And then we go into giving them a plan. The plan section is a simple plan that's going to help them move forward. Because at this point, when they're over here, they're leaning in. they're going, okay, tell me more. But when you say, okay, now I have a plan to help you move forward to get from where you are now to where you want to be, then there's like, okay, you want to make that you want to make that really simple. Again, it goes back to that survival instinct. They want to know, are you really going to help me? And how simple can you make this? And so we talk about that. And then you call them to action. Are you ready to work with me? Or do we need to be in a dating period? So a lot of companies will say, people will come out, and you've been in these networking things, and they're giving you their card, and they're telling you all about themselves, and they're already selling, and they don't even know you. This happens to me on LinkedIn all the time. I am sure it does with you all too, where somebody connects with you, and next thing I know, they're pitching me. I don't know you. I don't trust you. I don't know anything about you, and you're already trying to sell me. That's marry me. And then the other call to action is, let me give you something, a free resource. So this, in our world, we call this a lead magnet or a free gift, something that will get them onto your email list. And we talk about that and what is the best thing for that, because I don't know if anyone here have done lead magnets or PDFs or a short video series or anything that gets onto your email list, or a coupon. Those are all what we call lead gens or lead magnets. And a lot of times, when I first started my business and did this, 10 years ago, I would spend weeks on that alone and not get anything, because I didn't know the right way until about 6 years ago. And so the next thing from there, from calls to action, is that they have a decision to make. This is literally the climax in the movie. And then they have to decide, are they going to avoid failure? Are they going to, decide not to move on, or decide to stay where they are? Or are they going to have success? And then the customer then is transformed. Our goal is that they have success, and then they go into transformation. So let me just show you how this works in the Hunger Games storyline. Now, this works in Star Wars. This has worked in Indiana Jones. Every major movie uses this storyline to help carry people through. And that's why, Hollywood is probably over a $10 billion business. You think Netflix alone, it's because stories work, and stories work in your business. And so here we have Katniss Everdeen. The problem is that she needs to save her little sister in District 12. She meets Hamish. Hamish is Woody Harrelson. Now, Hamish isn't perfect. He's a drunk, but he's been through this process before. So he is there to help her and guide her through this, so that she could actually maybe win the Hunger Games and save her sister and save District 12. And so he gives her a plan and on how to win the games. She plays the game. She avoids losing the game, and because she's able to win, but she goes through lots of trials and tribulations, and she's not sure she's the right person to do it, and she doubts herself, but she's able to live and save District 12. And so she overcomes all of her fears, and she's celebrated by the president. I can't remember his name. So you see how this works in story, and it works in every story. Every good story has a storyline very similar to this. And so the importance of emotion and storytelling is, people stay with a movie, and you've been to movies that just don't keep you engaged. This is why. It's because you want to have, there needs to be some kind of emotion, whether you had a visceral negative feeling about it, or you had a visceral positive feeling about it. Like, for example, I will never forget the movie Silence of the Lambs. Not my favorite movie, but it was a great movie. Whereas my favorite movie of all time probably is still The Wizard of Oz, because I grew up, with it, and it follows a story, and it gives a happy outcome where Dorothy's able to go home and be back with Auntie Anne. And so this is my favorite quote of all time. And this is something that when I work with clients, I help them to find quotes that will resonate with them and their brand, that will help connect you to your audience. And so I use this quote in almost every presentation, because I do believe it. And I love, Maya Angelou's here. It's, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that goes back to the empathy. And so we as guides need to make sure that we have as much empathy as we do authority. And so that's, one big thing I wanted to share with you. And so here's some tips on how to do, some things that you should start doing in your business. And so the very first thing is listen. Listen and learn. Listen to what your customers are telling you. And if you're not sure, ask them. I put together surveys for clients. I put together surveys for myself, put a poll on social media, talk to your customers to help you improve the offerings that you have. That is, a very big key thing, because you're getting information directly from the source. So make sure that you're listening to your customers. Always make sure that your customer is the hero. Make the focus on them, and make sure that they are the hero of the story. And you're probably not even aware that you're even doing this, but even like on your websites, you want to make sure that you have happy customers like you see here. You don't want to make sure that I'm on a lot of websites, and I do a lot of website design and development for clients. And a lot of times they will have themselves, and it's a hero pose like this, or it's a picture of their building, or something on the services that they offer, or a manufacturer, whatever it is, but it's never showing a picture of what the customer can visualize themselves being. And so we want to always make sure, even down to the subtleness of that it makes a difference, is that it's a touch point that people are finding you on. And so you want to make sure that you are always making your customer the hero of the story. And then you want to make sure that you can identify their problem. What is the problem that your customer is facing, or what is the desired outcome that they're after, and how can you solve that? Because we want to make sure that we're solving their, the thing that they want, so that they can get where they want to be. Now, you want to make sure that you are always the guide, and that throughout their journey with you, you stay the guide. You are the authority. They're coming to you for a reason, to help them solve their problem. So you want to make sure that you stay in that position. It's funny because actually Don uses this as an analogy, and I think it's pretty funny. It's like you go to a doctor, and or you go to like I'm going to use myself as a analogy. You go to a dietitian or someone who's because you want to lose weight, and you say, look, I'm really struggling with this. I really just want to get this extra 20 pounds off. And the dietitian says, yeah, I can relate. I do too. Well, then why am I coming to you? You want to go to someone who can say, yes, I understand, and I can guide you through that process. That's being a guide. And so the next thing is, you want to make sure you give them a personalized plan. Every customer is a little different. So find the plan that works for them. Tailor your offerings to meet, the general, whoever you're here to serve, and, give them a clear pathway through. And so the plan does not need to be too long. In fact, it shouldn't be too long. Remember, going back to the beginning of our presentation where we talked about survive and thrive and conserving calories. If you say our plan, and this is something I work with clients all the time, we say, Darla, I can't get it down to, 3 or 5. I mean, we have a 12-step plan. Well, if you have a 12-step plan, it's human nature that it is a known fact that if you give someone more than 5 steps, they won't take any. And so we want to combine those. And that's something I work with clients all the time, to combine these sections and say, okay, here's a big group, and here's another big group, and here's another big group that will give them the plan. You're still doing all of that, but they don't need to know all that. And so they want to know that you're going to get them where they need to be in a very simple process. It's not going to be too hard for them to get from point A to point Z. So we want to make sure that plan is consolidated. So work through that to make sure that you're giving them a clear plan. Try really hard to get it down to 5 or less. 4 is good, 3 is optimum. Make sure you're calling them to action. and make sure you don't have too many calls to action. So when I say too many, I mean, you don't say learn more, click here, join now, all on the same page. You want to, and learn more is vague. You want a direct call to action. So you want to say, like on mine, it's book a call. And all through that page, anywhere you go on my website, except for my services, it'll say book a call, book a call, book a call. Because all I want at this point is for people to have initial conversation with me. I'm not asking anyone to buy from me because I don't know you, and I want to make sure that we're a good fit. And so that is something that you want to make sure you're doing. So you have to get the right call to action, and then you repeat that over and over and over again. This whole framework and everything I'm sharing with you is a repeatable framework. So you want to make sure that you are asking your customers to take the appropriate action, and make sure it's not too vague of a call to action. And then you also want to make sure that you have a transitional, which is that lead gen. What is that going to be something? So when they come to your website, that they don't just leave. You don't want them just to leave. You want to get them to become a warm prospect. So you want them to be on your email list. You want to give them a free gift to doing that. So that's the other call to action that you would give. And so that they have success. You want to be talking about the successes that they're going to have because they've decided to choose you. And so you want to share those success stories and how you've been able to help people avoid failure, or, so that they are having the success that they're having. Another thing that you want to make sure you're doing is doing testimonials. That goes back to you being the guide. You want to make sure you're getting really good testimonials. I mean, I could do a whole presentation just on testimonials because I know the value of them, and I know how impactful and important they are, is to get endorsements, whether that's on Google My Business, asking for them to give you endorsements on your LinkedIn, giving endorsements so that you can put onto your website, on social media, wherever. You want to get those endorsements because that's social proof that what you do is working for others. And then you want to make sure you're building relationships. Good marketing is really about building relationships. It's a people business. A lot of people, when I first started, I thought, oh, marketing, that's for the big companies. I can't afford marketing. You can't afford not to have marketing. Whether we're in a downturn, recession is impending or not, you still need to have marketing to be able to grow your business, because marketing leads to sales. Marketing is not sales, it's in the middle. So it's really about building relationships to help your customers achieve the outcome that they want. And then be real. Make sure that you're being authentic to who you are. This is going into your brand, understanding who you are as a brand, and being who you are, being authentic and honest and transparent, and show them who you are in your marketing. Because the more you are, it's going to resonate with the right people. Because I don't know about you, but over last, I've been fortunate that I've only had a handful, I can count on my hand, less than 5 people that maybe more like 2 or 3 that I wish were not clients. And so you do not want to have a negative experience with the clients. And and if you do, then you want to make sure that you don't. So this is you want to make sure that you're being authentic. You're talking about the right thing. You're showing yourself authentically. We were talking earlier about the pictures that Dan and the team just took because the photographer really grabbed them. That's what you want. You want to make sure that from your photographs to the words to the way you present yourself in a presentation or a video, or when you're networking or anywhere, that you are being authentic to who you are. In fact, this is an interesting little segue. I just saw a commercial, and I'm curious if you all are seeing it. I think it was Amazon. It's an Amazon commercial, and this young woman, and she's very different. She's got a gap in her teeth. She's got a little mustache, and she's trying to fit in, and she realizes she doesn't have to fit in. So she buys this yellow jacket, and she's got white boots, and she's dancing in the classroom. And, people are just accepting her for who she is. And I love that, because it's about being authentic and being who you are. So especially when you're working with younger audience, it's really important to, embrace yourself, and then have that transformation. ultimately, businesses that are in the business of helping your customers transform, again, being customer centric, they can go from being in a place that they don't want to be and to have a desired outcome, and they reach that. That is what you want, and that's what we need. That's the transformation, so that they can achieve the goals that they're after. And then these are some things that I wanted to share with you, just like showing you some of the things that I work with when it comes to marketing. A lot of the work I do is digitally based, but it's not always that way. I mean, I have clients that go, I still need to send postcards out, or I have trade shows I need to work in. So it applies to everything. But what is really interesting is you'll get a prospect. And what happens a lot in business that I have worked with, myself included, when I first started my first businesses, is, I had someone, I thought, okay, I started this new business. I need to have a logo. I need to have a website. I need to be on social media, but I didn't know all the other pieces. And so this is showing you the other pieces of the pie. And so a lot of people, they start here, they have a prospect, they have their brand down, they may have their mission, their values, their logo, they have all of that, and they look fabulous, but they bypass the words, having the right words to really resonate with that audience, really understanding who their audience is, and they go into building a marketing foundation. So they get the website, and then they start doing social media, and then they might even have a blog. But again, that all those words, all that content has to resonate, and if it doesn't, you've lost them. And so that's why this part right here is so important. And then this one right here, tracking. Measure and see what works and what doesn't, because if it's not working, then you need to move on and move to something that is working, and then to have a happy customer. I do this a lot with clients. I have a client right now that I work with clients on what I call as a VIP day, where I meet with them for either a half day or a full day, and we just get a lot done in that time frame. And then I also have retainer clients that I work with on a monthly basis. I had a client that she was trying for a month to do social media, and she's like, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not doing a good job. And I was giving her everything. I was developing the content, the copy, the images, and she was supposedly posting it out there. And she's like, this is not working. I'm not doing a really good job. I'm forgetting to do it. It just doesn't feel right. I said, well, then let's not do it. If it's not working, then we need to find something that will work. So let's look at your email. And so she had a loyal list, not a big list, but a quality list of buyers, and buyers that have worked with her for over 20 years. And she was paying a company about $450 a month to send out just newsletters, just generic newsletters. And she wasn't getting a lot of engagement. I said, let's take that over and start writing emails in your voice, in the right way, and so that it resonates with them. And so we started doing that. Her open rates, people that would click through and open her emails, went to about 50 to 60%, which is unheard of. And then her click through, which means they would click on something. If we had like a click here to learn, to get to something, then it was about around between 3 and 4%. And the normal average is about 1 to 2%. An open rate is about 16 to 20%. And she was getting between 50 and 60%. Her ROI was about 30% in revenue above what she was getting. And so that's why you measure and track to see what works, and you don't miss out on things like getting the right words to building out the right foundation. And then you get, to have the happy customer. So these are some of the things that I work in a lot. Is you have a new prospect, you typically, what people do, they miss is this clear message. That's the point I really hone in on, because if you don't have that, nothing else works. To get the engaging social media, to get a clear and compelling website, to have an effective marketing strategy, email marketing strategy that works, that gets people to buy in. And because at this point here, you're still nurturing them. That's part of that dating period. They're not ready to buy, but you don't want them to You don't want them to go away. You want them to stay on your list. I mean, there have been people that have not contacted me and been on my email list for 2 years, and then they contacted me. That's okay. You know, you have to go when they're ready to, when it's right, the right timing. I've done the same thing. I've been on people's lists and the timing wasn't right until it was. And then I joined into their program. You'll make sure that you have the right content marketing, that you know, got good SEO, and that you're putting it on the right channels. You want to make sure you're tracking it so that you get the buyer who becomes a loyal customer, and that they, you know, ultimately that they refer you to other people. And, you know, because that's the ultimate, is someone, you know, if someone can be a referral and give, you know, word of mouth marketing, which is the ultimate. But in a world where we're so busy, that doesn't, and it's a noisy world, it's hard to, you know, it's not always easy to count on those all the time. So we want to make sure we have this process straight and so that they have it. And so here's how you should really get started. One, understand your clients, really get into their mind, and make sure that you're talking to one person. I know that's really hard when you've got multiple people, but if you can narrow that down to one, when I take people through my VIP day, you know, we'll narrow it down. We'll find similarities. I mean, there might be like 3 different main clients, but we will say, okay, what are the similarities that all 3 of those have? Because in a perfect world, I would do I would take them through a VIP day, a messaging day for each of those, because it is a repeatable framework. But that's not always the case. And you have to start somewhere. And so you want to try to talk to the ultimate person. Who's the person that is an ideal client for you? Because other people will resonate with it. It's just, we have to, you know, the more you can talk to, this is just copywriting too, is to understand that. And then step 2 is develop a clear and compelling message. This is, I cannot emphasize the importance of this. This is what breaks companies, because they don't have the right message, that have the right words, that's speaking to the right audience. So you want to make sure you're using the right word, and you're repeating that over and over and over again. You're gonna feel like you're a broken record, but to the right customer, they are not. They're gonna say, you're finally, they found somebody who can help me solve my problem. And then step 3, really don't be the hero, be the guide. Try to always keep yourself in the guide perspective, so that you can lead them to have this successful outcome that they really want to have. And so whether if you're a guide, that they may not be the right client for you, or they may have, you know, have other things in mind, you know, that's okay. Always say a guide, and don't try to be the hero too, because, you know, 2 heroes together aren't going to guide anyone. You're going to be sitting on the road just saying, I don't know where to go. So you need to be the guide. And that's it. So this is more about like who I am. You know, I really do believe that marketing should be easier and it should work. And we're here to help. And so my company is all built on being customer centric, to take your business to the next level, using psychology and storytelling. This is a good little intro to give you some guidance. Happy to answer any questions that you have. And whether they're posted here, I'll come back into the Facebook group too, if you want to post any other questions there. You can reach me at kirchnermarketing.com, or you can email me at darla@kirchnermarketing.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions there too, because I want to be a resource. I want to be helpful. And I really want to be able to help you have your organizations grow, so that, because I know that people here you're in business because you want to solve problems, and I want to help you do that and reach the right audience. So thank you for your time, and let me know if y'all have any questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen unless you want me to keep sharing my screen, or if anybody has any questions.
Well, they're kind of quiet today, aren't they, Darla?
They are very quiet today. I think hopefully I didn't overwhelm them.
Well, I don't have a question, but I have a comment while people are thinking of their questions.
Okay.
This is very simple strategy that is very hard to do by yourself. So when we started this journey, you know, and we first started working with Darla, and actually we're re-engaging with her to go to the next step. But These are questions you're like, oh, I can do this, until you start to do it. And then it's like Tiffany and I spent hours like figuring some of this stuff out, because you just don't, it's really hard to take the emotion and your own viewpoint out of it and step out of your own business in order to say, okay, what are people seeing, from their perspective? So it's a simple strategy that is not easy to do, but very rewarding. I know when we worked with Darla before, it's why we started changing the copy and everything in our website. And now we want to take it to the next level, because, we want these, as a chamber, we want the sincerity of wanting, we're sincere and honest in wanting our businesses and our members to be successful. And, I think we do that pretty well face to face. What we don't do as well is in our marketing and our social media and our website and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of throwing that out there, that it was delightful, but not easy working through this.
Yeah, I thank you for bringing that up. One, it's a process, right? And together as a team, we're going to make this process easier. And that's what most businesses do. They will read the book. If they're savvy enough to read the book, they'll read the book and they'll try to go through the process, and they'll send me something. They say, okay, this is what I've got. There it is. Yes. and it's because you are simply too close to your business. You can't see why your customers see. And that's my job, is to help you understand from your client's perspective. And so, it's like, trying to be you're on the inside of a fishbowl and your client's on the outside. So you're pushing it out there, but they're not hearing and understanding, because they're, it's a hard process to do. It does seem very simple, and if you can pull it off, great. But that's why people like me are here, because I really do care, and I do want, because I've been in your shoes. I've been in the shoes. And it took me a while to figure out my own, so that I could be clear, so I could help new clients. And I'm always evolving and iterating, and that's what it's all about. You can't eat the elephant in one bite. You do it step by step and get as much done as you can, but having a clear understanding of who is your audience and having someone guide you through it will save you a lot of time and money in the long end. It really will.
So does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey, so I fixed my microphone problem.
Why don't
Sorry
you go
about
ahead and introduce yourself, Brandon, since you couldn't do that before?
So Brandon and Nikki Owens were first choice business brokers, Cincinnati, Southwest Ohio area. So good morning and thanks for having us, and sorry about the audio. Just want to make a comment that, the Story Brand book is, I want to second what she's saying. Anybody who's never read it should, and you'll never watch a movie the same way again after reading the darn book. It rewires the brain around every story that you hear. And thank you very much for the presentation. I thought that was very informative.
Thank you, Brendan. I appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. When you start to read you start looking at movies very differently. Like Don would say, he ruins movies for his wife. And I would tell you the same thing of my husband. I'm like, he's about to do this, or I'll say things that they've said something like it or exactly those words. He's like, how do you know that? I said, because I know how the story goes. It does work.
And they all do follow that pattern to some degree.
They do. Especially good movies will definitely. And there have been some that are out there and you're like, really? Yeah, but those are the ones that are not going to be on the on the top 10 of LinkedIn or Netflix. So
but every 1980s action flick follows it to a T. So
yes, and and it does avoid that, avoid the failure. You don't want to die, so you want to have this successful outcome.
Every Hallmark movie follows that, I can tell you.
They do.
I'm gonna take your word for that one, Dan. I don't watch Hallmark. I can't do it.
I still do. The story is the same. The characters change. I would like to interject here for a second, because Will is new with us. And Will, I'd like you to have a moment just to introduce yourself, who you are and who you represent.
Hey everybody, thank you. Sorry I was a couple minutes late. My name is Will DeClerc. I'm a CPA. My company is Riverview Accounting and Advisory. I work with Darla. She has been very helpful. I don't know if it's right brain or left brain, but whatever side of the brain that typically does art and marketing and emotional communication, I'm the other side. So she's been invaluable in that aspect. My company primarily focuses on technical accounting and financial reporting consulting. And then also maybe a transaction that's just a little bit outside the norm for a business. So what I like to say is that I'm the nerd the other nerds call when they need a little bit of help. But great to meet all you guys. Good to see some new faces, and hopefully we'll interact in the future.
Where are you located, Will?
I work out of my home office. I'm in Fairfield Township, right off of 4. But I have a mailing address in Hamilton.
Okay. Good choice.
Yeah.
Will is amazing. He's very good at what he does. He's being very modest, but he is very good at what he does, and he is the guy that you want to call when you have any kind of technical questions, because he can help you get it, and he's very easy to talk to. He really wants to help his clients succeed, and so it's been an honor working with you, Will. And I love your new sweatshirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I need to adjust the camera a little bit. My mother-in-law got me some branded garb.
Yes, and we did his logo too. So all of that is work that we did together, and he is we work together ongoingly. Now it's about continuing to build his brand awareness and build out his insights. He's got an amazing insights page. If you are into or need anything that's technical, Will's your guy. So.
Or if you're having trouble falling asleep.
So any questions from anyone?
Come on, you guys, don't be shy. I promise I wouldn't bite if I could. Is anybody using this? Is this a new concept for people to have more customer-centric marketing? Or yes, okay, you don't count.
We're trying to make sure that our messaging, comports with the story brand framework, but it's not easy. It takes, like you said, probably a third party set of eyes. And that's what we're lacking right now. So how do we get a hold of you, Darla?
You just simply just email me at darla@darlakirchner.com. Yeah. You can go to my website too, which is kirchnermarketing.com. I can put it in the chat too, but
all right, she already wrote it down.
Oh, sure. Nice to meet you. It's, there have been companies that have gone through, have read the book, have invested into the workshop. Because StoryBrand has their own workshop. They did an online during COVID. Now they're going back to offering live. Live is like, I don't remember how much it is now. It's probably $1,500 to $2,000 if you go live to Nashville, but then you got to pay for being there and all that. Will and I've been working together for the last year and a half, and we do all via Zoom. So it's easy to do. And it's something that I can break things down because I know I understand what it's like to be a small business owner. But I also know that if you don't have the right words, it really isn't gonna, and it's not going to help you. I've had it with clients where they have put out there and spent all this time and energy on social media and developing their website and having beautiful landing pages that don't convert. And it's because the words are not resonating and landing on their audience. And so it goes back to that. And so I'd be happy to talk to you and anyone else here. And again, it's a simple 30-minute call, and we just talk and see how can we work together, and are we a good fit, and I can give you some more guidance, and if it works out, then we can start working together and to help you get the desired outcome that you want, because we're just too close to it. It's really hard to try to put yourself in your customer's perspective, because you're thinking about all these other things that they're not, and vice versa. Yeah.
So I guess we should wrap up. Back to you, Laura. You want to wrap up?
Yep, I can do that. We will be back in a couple weeks. March 28th is our next coffee, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on Zoom. So register on the chamber website, hamilton-ohio.com. If you're interested in any other chamber events, you can visit our website. We have a scrolling calendar on the left-hand side of all the upcoming chamber events. Please feel free to attend. We would love to meet you in person. So we will see you all in a couple weeks then.
Thank you, Darla.
Thank you for being with us,
amazing
Darla.
informative presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you
Thank you,
all.
Darla.
All right,
Thanks,
take
Darla.
care.
Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
you
Thank
too.
you.
You too.
Bye-bye.